how powerfully racist that question is, can you? Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about black people? Whether he did or not, or she did or not. Even the inquiry comes from a position of being in the center.
And being used to being in the center.
And being used to being in the center. And saying, you know, is it ever possible that you will enter the mainstream? It's inconceivable that where I already am is the mainstream.
They looked at just 12 southern states between 1877 to 1950. Turns out there were 3,959 victims of what they call racial terror lynchings.
My name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens.
I don't know what most white people in this country feel, but I can only include what they feel from the state of their institutions. I don't know if white Christians hate Negroes or not, but I know that we have a Christian church which is white and a Christian church which is black. I know, as Malcolm X once put it, that the most segregated hour in American life is high noon on Sunday. That says a great deal for me about a Christian nation. It means that I can't afford to trust most white Christians and certainly cannot trust the Christian church. I don't know whether the labor unions and their bosses really hate me. That doesn't matter, but I know I'm not in their unions. I don't know if the real estate lobby is anything against black people, but I know the real estate lobbies keep me in the ghetto. I don't know if the Board of Education hates black people, but I know the textbooks that give my children to read and the schools that we have to go to. Now, this is the evidence. You want me to make an act of faith, risking myself, my wife, my woman, my sister, my children, on some idealism which you assure me exists in America, which I have never seen.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators.
Slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma.
In my opinion, the young generation of whites, blacks, browns, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution, a time when there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built, and the only way it's going to be built is with extreme methods. And I, for one, will join in with anyone, don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth.
What the Gay Rights Ordinance in San Francisco, the main focus is to prevent the people who are already employed, who are gay, who, if they want to come out and break down the stereotypes, prevents them from being fired.
I am not calling the gentleman, Mr. Meadows, a racist for doing so. I'm saying that in itself, it is a racist act.
Is this the land of the free and the home of the brave? No. Is this a land with liberty and justice for all? No. Is this one nation, indivisible, under God? No. Either let us practice the democracy we are preaching, or shut up.
Well, there's no single simple meaning of the term revolutionary. A revolutionary is a man or a woman who is a lot of things, but basically the revolutionary wants to change the nature of society in a way to promote a world where the needs and interests of the people are responded to.
It doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand your ground defenses that these people raised, and they get off. I am a mother too, and I have a son, and I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does.
FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover today asserted that the Black Panthers represent the greatest internal threat to the nation.
Every incident that have been tipped off in this country in the last 2 years up north have been tipped off by uniformed police. Now, I'm not saying the police is right or wrong. I'm saying when you have these incidents that's tipped off with this one symbol, then we should look into it and see what it is. When 22 million people, be they black or white, start hollering police brutality, then it's time to start listening to 22 million people and going in. A lot of people say, well, it's not police brutality. Police brutality is not when a cop necessarily knocks me upside the head. It's when a cop calls me nigger when he's making the arrest. It's when he handles me wrongly in every process of processing the arrest. This is a form of police brutality.
America's not unique in its sins as a country. We're not unique in our evils. I think where we may be singular is our refusal to acknowledge them and the legends and myths we tell about our inherent, goodness to hide and cover and conceal so that we can maintain a kind of willful ignorance that protects our innocence. I've had the privilege of growing up in a tradition that didn't believe in the myths and the legends because we had to bear the brunt of them.
Republicans in February blocked Senator Bernie Sanders' bill to provide $21 billion in medical and other benefits for veterans.
When our men and women come home from war, some wounded in body, some wounded in spirit, I don't want to hear people telling me it's too expensive to take care of those wounded veterans. I don't accept that. If you think it's too expensive to take care of veterans, don't send them to war.
Back in 1998, a black man, James Byrd Jr., accepted a ride from 3 white men. Instead of taking him home, they drove him down a remote Jasper County road, beat him and dragged him for 3 miles behind their pickup truck.
I am, I think, quite disgusted, really, to be honest, that as Muslim legislators, we are constantly being asked to waste our time speaking to issues that other people are not asked to speak to, because the assumption exists is that we somehow support and are for, right? There is an assumption. So I want to make sure that the next time someone is in an audience and is looking at me and Rashida and Abdul and Sam, that they ask us the proper questions that they will probably ask any member of Congress.
I think the only thing that's really changed is the black woman.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me, and you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. What Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
All right, I accept that.
Of course you'll lie to me, because I don't even want to care. What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat you the way I treat him.
You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell. Because I love you, I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man? For 10 years, so that we can get a child on his feet that says, yeah, father smiled at mother. He talked to me about school today.
How many bales of cotton have you picked? How many beatings have you taken? He couldn't say nothing.
Earlier today, we heard the beginning of the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We the people. It's a very eloquent beginning. But when that document was completed on the 17th of September in 1787, I was not included in that we the people. I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in we the people.
A boy last week, he was 16 in San Francisco, told me on television. Thank God we got him to talk. Maybe somebody will start to listen. He said, I got no country, I've got no flag. Now he's only 16 years old. And I couldn't say you do. I don't have any evidence to prove that he does. They were tearing down his house. We're talking about human beings. There's not such a thing as a monolithic wall or, some abstraction called the Negro problem. These Negro boys and girls who at 16 and 17 don't believe the country means anything that it says, don't feel they have any place here on the basis of the performance of the entire country.
Well, now, Jim...
No, am I exaggerating?
No, I certainly could not say that you're exaggerating.
My name is Legacy Garner, the daughter of Drew Miller and my dad, Eric Garner. No justice, no peace.
You don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate...
What's the word? What's the word? What's going on? I'm trying to email my aunt to have her watch this. I text her. Why does she have to log in? Why is it saying log in first? Why she gotta log in? Hopefully she can watch it. How y'all doing? I'm sure it was a long night for everyone. It definitely was for me. And disappointing as well. I don't know how y'all all feel about it, but yeah, it was definitely a disappointing night, but sobering night as well. First off, welcome to Status Quo. Oh, look, I got a new cat, everyone, for my birthday. Let me show everyone. Look at this. Look at this cat. He just got spaded. Is a spade? Just got spaded. So he got this thing on his face, but he's a little feisty youngster. A little Flip is flipping out. Flip is flipping out. Flip want to fight him. Aww. He's acting real dramatic right now. He keep trying to jump on me. But well, his name is Malcolm too. Look at him. See? Y'all see him? Aww. Aww. Get up out of here, man. You keep doing that, he gonna make me the stitches. I know, I'm sorry. So look though, it was a long night. Ooh. Come on. Here you go. Come on. Okay, he just got here, so he's getting used to being. So he's just jumping everywhere. He's here to keep the mice away, and so we're gonna let him do that. He's like licking my face. There you go. Cats help with depression too, so that's good. So anyway, we got it. Here you go. Get him there. There you go. Yeah, grab him. So that's Malcolm. He's feisty. That's what we love about him. But let me go live on IG right quick so we can get into this madness of a night, to say the least. To say the least. Madness of a night, to say the least. You know, there's some disappointments, and I gotta, to be completely honest, I'm a bit disappointed in Bernie as well, man. I wasn't disappointed in Bernie until this morning, and I saw his campaign video. Oh man, that touched me the wrong way. You guys been following? I know what you. Hopefully, if you've been following, you know what I'm referring to. The campaign video, he put a Mike Bloomberg, and I edit stuff and I see stuff, so I know what it sound like when you edit a video, you edit the sound and things like that to kind of make it seem like it's one video. I mean, people ain't stupid. They know that. Hopefully he don't think people stupid and they think it's one video. What's up, everybody on IG? But that bothered me. That bothered me, to say the least. And I'm gonna show you the video. And to me, what's going on? Hey, everybody on IG, go to like my Twitter or YouTube or Facebook and follow me so you can see the graphics and everything. Right now, you just see the green screen, but good looking out. Thank you for being here. But yeah, he kind of disappointed me this morning when I woke up and I saw that video, and it kind of felt like he was stretching. And I'm not, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna ride it, we should ride it out all the way till the wheels fall off. And right now, it just seemed like he's stretching, and I don't appreciate that at all. But before we actually get into it, y'all remember, this is the section, so I want y'all to follow us. I want you to, what's going on, Smoking Al 420 on IG. I want y'all to, got that to-do list. Go ahead and follow us, subscribe, like the page, get the notifications. On IG, we are the section _ Indie, INDE. On Twitter is the same thing. On Facebook is _ independent, and on YouTube _ independent. The section independent, and on Facebook is the section independent as well. My bad. It's been a long day. Had a couple interviews, so hopefully that went okay with a few companies, which hopefully I get one of them. Someone that everyone probably know, for us, by us. I'm just playing. So, but anyway, let's get into it. So, now, where are we today? What happened last night? Ooh, Jesus. I don't know what's wrong with this cat. It's retarded, kind of. I mean, maybe I shouldn't use that word. But something ain't right about him. He okay. He okay. He got that little neck brace on, so he not used to that, and it's messing up his equilibrium, I think. But so let's get into it. My aunt called me like that. It was like 11 o'clock my time, and I knew. I'm like, only reason she calling me right now is because she watching the elections, and she saw Biden sweeping, and you can't do nothing but say it is what it is. That's what he did. He swept it. It was disappointing, but he swept it. But what do you call this? The post-mortem? The post-mortem primaries. Let's talk about what happened and why it happened and why Joe Biden, why Bernie Sanders, well, I would say, had the night that he had. I mean, Bernie Sanders, they'll still end up, after California's done, they'll end up being tied. Bernie may be ahead by a little. But going into Super Tuesday, Biden thought he would be down by a couple hundred. He was figuring out what road he had to the presidency, being down a few hundred, and now it's a different game. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So if y'all hear the cat, y'all just gonna have to hear the cat. So what went wrong with Biden, with Bernie? I'm sorry. Biden, let's look at the vote as it relates to the candidates. You got, what happened? It started too late. Okay, here you go. You got Joe Biden winning 60% of the black vote, and you got Bernie Sanders winning. Okay. Maybe I should have made this an image instead of a video, because I'm trying to. But what you see, you got Joe Biden winning the majority of the black vote, and he's winning the majority of the voters of people that's over 45, and you got Bernie Sanders winning the majority of the Latino vote and the majority of people under 45. So that's what you have in tow. Talking about the 14 states that was a part of Super Tuesday, including. Well, in addition to American Samoa, and in addition to, including people abroad as well. And a lot of those are being tallied as well right now. So thinking about that, so Biden seemed like he has a black vote on lock, because we got a whole lot of field. No, just kidding. But he has the black vote on lock. But even more than that, you know, there was a momentum behind Bernie initially. And something happened, man. Something happened, I would say, between Nevada and South Carolina. I don't, you know, Bernie was on top, and I think what may have happened is that, you know, his messaging, I think he kind of stood, he didn't shift the messaging, I feel. And this is obviously, this is Monday morning quarterback, and this is after the fact. This is me looking at everything that I know and trying to understand, like, you know, what happened, right? But I wrote some notes down. So think about what's happened so far in the primaries. He wins Iowa, he wins New Hampshire, he wins Nevada. His win in Nevada was almost like as big as Joe Biden's win in South Carolina. You know what? Matter of fact, let's watch this video. I forgot this video I just did. Then we'll get into this. This is a video kind of showing you where we are, what's happened. It's just a little timeline that I put together real quick. So that it's not graphic heavy or anything, but it's a timeline that I put together, kind of show you where we are, how we got here, going into the rest of the primaries, which on March 10th, you have 6 states that will be voting on March 10th. And those states are, just to give you an understanding, you have Washington, Idaho, North Dakota, Missouri, Michigan, and Mississippi, all voting, have their primaries on Tuesday. So let's get into how did we get here?
What I said is what Barack Obama said in terms of Cuba, that Cuba made progress on education. Yes, I think, really?
This country is at an inflection point. It is time for us to restore this country's dignity, this country's respect. That is what is at stake this year. And I can think of no one better suited, better prepared. I can think of no one with the integrity, no one more committed to the fundamental principles that make this country what it is, than my good friend, my late wife's great friend, Joe Biden.
Good evening, Vice President Biden. You, along with President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, came to Charleston when this tragedy occurred. And you directly and personally came to encourage us. So thank you very much.
I kind of know what it's like to lose family. And my heart goes out to you. As you may remember, after Barack and Michelle and I were there, and my family, I came back on that Sunday to regular service because I had just lost my son. And I wanted some hope because what you all did was astounding. I don't know if you all know this. All those who died, were killed by this white supremacist, they forgave him. They forgave him. The ultimate act of Christian charity, they forgave him.
Big breaking political news overnight, the Biden blowout. The former vice president is projected to win South Carolina with a commanding double-digit lead.
Biden racked up nearly 50% of the vote, almost 30 points ahead of the second-place finisher, Bernie Sanders.
Let's not get into red baiting here. Here is the truth. Everybody knows it. Cuba is a very poor country. Its economy is in very bad shape. It is an authoritarian society.
Do I support their economic policies or their political policies? Of course I don't. But you know what else? Cuba produces a lot of physicians in this country. And you know where they go? They go to poor countries around the world doing a lot of good.
We're building up our staff all over the country, actually, in the Super Tuesday states.
A third of delegates don't get decided until Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday is coming. 3
former Democratic presidential hopefuls are now putting their support behind Joe Biden. Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Beto O'Rourke all endorsed the former vice president on Monday. Buttigieg suspended his bid for the White House Sunday. Klobuchar ended her campaign Monday, and O'Rourke dropped out of the race in early November. Here's some of what Buttigieg and Klobuchar said about Biden in Dallas on Monday, just one day ahead of the Super Tuesday primaries in Texas.
And it is in the name of that very same goal that I'm delighted to endorse and support Joe Biden for president. I'm looking for a president who will draw out what is best in each of us. And I'm encouraging everybody who is part of my campaign to join me because we have found that leader in Vice President, soon to be President, Joe Biden.
We need to unite our party and our country, and to do it not just with our words, but with our actions. It is up to us, all of us, to put our country back together, to heal this country, and then to build something even greater. I believe we can do this together. And that is why today I am ending my campaign and endorsing Joe Biden for president.
I don't know if you saw this last week. The vice president was at a town hall in South Carolina. And Reverend Anthony Thompson came up to the microphone and talked about losing his wife at Mother Emanuel AME in South Carolina in 2015. And Joe Biden listened to him, in fact, with his eyes closed so that he could concentrate on every single word that that man said. And then he spoke back to him and to all of us from his heart, filled with compassion and love and the power to heal. He wanted to heal that man. He wanted to heal Charleston, South Carolina. But as someone who lives in El Paso, Texas, which saw another white nationalist rampage where 22 people were killed solely based on their ethnicity, on the color of their skin, on their country of national origin, I felt Joe Biden healing us. At a time that this country is so polarized, so deeply divided, we need somebody who can bring us together and heal us. We need somebody who can reestablish the moral authority of the United States.
I believe I will make the best president of the United States. I was not born a politician, but I was born a fighter. Vote for me and we get 8 years of Kate McKinnon on Saturday Night Live.
It is 7 o'clock on the East Coast, and polls have now closed in 2 of the 14 Super Tuesday states, voting in Virginia and in Vermont. The Fox News Decision Desk can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win the Commonwealth of Virginia. Joe Biden will win the state of Tennessee.
Joe Biden will win the Tar Heel state. We're going to call Biden winning Massachusetts.
Biden wins Arkansas.
The Associated Press declaring Joe Biden the winner in Texas.
Joe Biden, fresh off his victory in 9 states on Super Tuesday, is getting yet another jolt. Billionaire Michael Bloomberg announced earlier today he's suspending his campaign, throwing his support behind the former vice president.
I'm a believer in using data to inform decisions. After yesterday's results, the delegate math has become virtually impossible, and a viable path to the nomination no longer exists.
After failing to win a single state and suffering the indignity of being rejected by the voters that know her best from both of her home state, Massachusetts, and her native state of Oklahoma. All this as calls grow on the left for Warren to make room for Bernie Sanders. One of his top surrogates, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, tweeting this: "Imagine if the progressives consolidated last night like the moderates consolidated. Who would have won? That's what we should be analyzing. I feel confident a united progressive movement would have allowed for us to build together and win Minnesota and other states we narrowly lost."
But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota.
Look at that. That was a lot. You know, I should have put the dates on there so you guys can be more like, have the timeline, but I didn't do that. I was trying to get it, because it's 11 o'clock here. I was trying to get it done. What up, Pimpin'? How you feeling, Playboy? So, as you see, that was a timeline. So, from the time that he was endorsed by Jim Clyburn to last night, something shifted. And I would say it was all those voters who was wondering who they were going to vote for, who probably, you know, those 45 and up who Biden won last night, and those black voters that probably didn't know at the last minute said, oh, this is our man. He looks like a winner. Because he won in double digits, and I think he won by like 20 points, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the cat. If y'all know, I just got a cat. So, but this is where we are, and my feelings toward it, man. I think between the time that Biden won Nevada, between the time that Bernie won Nevada and the time that Biden won South Carolina, there was a huge gap where if Bernie could have shifted. I think what happened is Bernie won, he ended up winning Nevada, and then he started focusing more on Mike Bloomberg and started focusing more on Biden and not on Trump, and not on being electable, not on being the winner, not on being the front runner. And I think if he would have shifted his messaging just a little bit, and because he continued to talk about how, you know, he was the underdog and it was a revolution, and it is a revolution. That's not my issue. The issue is that if he would have kind of married that idea with the history of this country, like, I mean, everything that's happened in this country, any progress, anything that how we progress in this country have been because of revolution. And if he could have married the history of this country with his movement, I think those people who were apprehensive about, you know, those 45 and older voters, those black voters would have maybe looked at him as someone that could beat Trump. But even after he won, he was the all-around top candidate. He continued to say, you know, that he was an underdog and things like that. And like I said, this is me. I'm not saying I didn't know. I wasn't thinking about this, and I didn't know this prior. But like looking at everything, you know, if his messaging would have shifted. And also, there's another thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. I heard one person on the Hill, Crystal, mention, and I mentioned this the other day. If you look back at my videos, I said, you know what? The coronavirus could really be something that could adjust the voting, because when you have this pandemic that people are scared of, people want someone in there that they know, that they're familiar with, that they feel like can lead. And Biden is someone that they saw under Obama, and they feel like he can lead. And I was like, man, that could play a part, especially right now. And it actually did. Crystal Ball brought it up. I'm gonna see if I can find it right quick, because I think, look, my aunt is calling me. Hello, you on live? What's going on?
Hello, I don't understand what you're saying.
I said you're on live. I'm live right now. What's up?
Okay, well, go ahead and do something.
I just text you to watch it.
Okay, I don't know what it is. What am I doing?
All you got to do is click on the link that I sent you, and because I think you're only on Facebook, right? So if you click on that link, you'll be able to see it.
Okay, what is it?
It's me going live talking about yesterday. Hey, get off! Get off of there. He's killing the couch. I just got this new cat, Unlost. Yeah, go, click on the thing. You'll see.
Okay. I was just calling to tell you that it wasn't the establishment. It was the people came out about the establishment didn't do it.
Well, you got to watch the video, see what I'm saying, and then we'll talk after that.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. He got some nails. He like really, he did worse than. Do you have a nail clipper? I got a regular nail clipper.
Okay, that's what I use.
Jesus Christ.
You messed it up?
Yeah, he got into it.
Okay, we need to put the...
Anyway, the cat's messing it up. But let me see. Crystal Ball talked about. I'm gonna look up Crystal Ball. She talked about this. Let's see, Crystal Ball, and what is it? Coronavirus. Coronavirus voting. She brought it up, and I brought this up the other day in my live stream. I'm gonna see if I can find it right quick. Let's see. Potential coronavirus. Okay, here we go. Check this out. She brought this up. Today, I think. No, a couple days ago.
All right. Question number one we have here from Lindsay. What impacts do you foresee a potential coronavirus outbreak having on the primary and general election?
Oh,
Sagar.
Lindsay, you're speaking straight to my heart. There are so many that we can't. Basically, the way I've compared to this and think about this is like the financial crisis, which is something that's lurking in the background throughout 2007, 2008, and then all of a sudden it becomes the only thing that we end up caring about, and it ends up to go on to define the next 2 decades of American politics. I sincerely believe that it could have the exact same effect. So let's think about this. In terms of trade, this actually bolsters the Trump agenda quite significantly because it highlights the issue of supply chains. It's something Trump has talked a lot about, how we don't build anything anymore. We don't make anything anymore. Our medicines are all made in China. We need domestic manufacturing and all of this. In terms of Bernie, can you think of a better way to get the public energized about Medicare for all than when we get to a system? Let's put this in perspective. Public health experts say 40 to 70% of the global population could be infected. Let's say this thing goes complete pandemic, 40% of the U.S. population, that's 350 million. That's how they say about 20% of people who get infected with coronavirus are people who need to be hospitalized. That's all those people hitting the hospital system within a minor amount of period. This is how it worked in SARS. This is how it worked in China. Can you think of a better way to reveal the crooks and the hospital administrators and within the, and the way this all works? And by the way, our insurance system and our hospital system is not even very efficient at taking care. We don't even have the beds to take care of this many people all at the same time. China put up a hospital in 10 days. 10 days for 1,000 beds or something like that. We don't have that capacity.
Well, and they're also, the authoritarianism means they can just lock down an entire city, lock down an entire province. We certainly can't do that. On the Medicare for All piece, I saw this news article. This is just the beginning, the very tip of the iceberg. Young man, Miami resident, who had traveled to China, came back, was feeling ill. And he wanted to get checked and make sure he was fine, not only for himself, but so he's not infecting other people around him. He goes to the hospital to get checked. It was $3,100 to get checked for coronavirus. So when you think about that, suddenly Medicare for All isn't just about, do I have coverage? It's about, does everyone around me have the care that they need so they're not going around, going to work, going to pick up their kids from school, going on the subways, going on the buses, etc., without having sought proper medical care and making sure that they are not infected with this virus? That's where things get really, really incredibly scary. It's not like we have a good health system in this country. Like, let's be real about that. So you talk about the health effects, you talk about massive economic effects, you talk about trade, you talk about travel. I mean, look, we don't know how, it's chaos theory at this point. You don't know how it's all going to unfold.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's truly something for everybody. With Trump, he's got the borders, he's got trade, supply chain, China. Bernie's got the healthcare piece. I mean, Warren Warren has been talking a lot about, you know what I encourage everybody to do? Go read World War Z. I know it's about zombies, but it's actually a political kind of commentary on what goes, what does a pandemic kind of reveal about your society. They talk a lot about stuff like this, outbreak, vaccines, price gouging,
and
even the
that's not
media's
even-
role and all that. So it's very important.
By the way, Alex Azar, who HHS, couldn't guarantee that right now there is no coronavirus vaccine, but couldn't guarantee that vaccine would be affordable because that the markets have to be able to work their will, people have to be able to invest, which is just a very unsettling, uncomfortable thing for him to have said. We will be covering this extensively, don't worry. Next up, Sagar, what do we have?
Number 2, in a general election, this is from Jorge, what is more important to win Michigan or Florida? Specifically look at the general election between Trump and Sanders. What do you think, Crystal?
All right, so I think if it's Trump and
Michigan, no question, Jorge. It's the
appearance. So for those of you who, I don't know, have been living under a rock and haven't watched that or just want to relive it like I do, let's take a look.
Kind of revealed how insane it is to just have one team only. Look at the success of this show. It succeeds only.
Things that you all respond most to is when we do
all over the place. You got to get them. Babe, you got to get them from there, please. No, get the cats. Just get the cat. Just get the cat. There you go. Get the cat. That stuff can stay down. Lord, he's killing everything. Anyway, that wasn't the video, but it was another video I saw earlier. I should have looked it up before, but they talked about, they talked about how the coronavirus will affect people's voting, and it actually did. She had percentages and everything as far as the coronavirus and its effect on people's voting, because they wanting to have someone in office that they trusted. And it was, damn, what do I do? I guess I wish I would have saw it. It's like 30 or 40%. But anyway, back to old good Bernie Sanders. Like I said, if Bernie Sanders, the time that he was the clear front runner after Nevada, if he could have shifted, and like I said, and when I talk about inviting people in, I'm more referring to him claiming to be, I'm the one that can beat Trump. Look, I won Iowa, I won Nevada. I won Nevada, which they was claiming was more indicative of the country. I won New Hampshire. I'm the one that can win. Look, this is who we are. This revolution is not new. We start look what FDR did. Look at what Martin Luther King did. If he could have took the history of America and then integrated it into his message, then I think that he would have done way better than he did during Super Tuesday. And right now, I think he still got to shift. It's something that he still needs to do. He needs to shift. We don't need to be talking about, because he shifted, like I said earlier, talking about Biden and Michael Bloomberg, when he should have been talking about him being the staying on his policies, which he was, and him being the front runner, him being the most electable. And I'm not saying that he didn't mention that, but if that could have been a part of his shtick, his ideology, his campaign's ideology, then I think that he would have done a lot better yesterday in Super Tuesday, instead of doing what he did. And we're going to get into what he did. But the video that I just showed right before this past video, showing everything that went on. First, you got Jim Clyburn that endorsed Joe Biden. Then after that, we're going into Super Tuesday. You have Klobuchar and you have Buttigieg drop out, endorse Joe Biden. And imagine after Bernie won Nevada, if he would have called some of his friends, some of the people that have the same, that believe in the same things that he believe in and that have the same policies, to endorse him, to get more people to like put the nail in the coffin while you're on top. Look, don't be scared. This is a red scare. This is something that they're doing. Look, Bernie Sanders is great. What he's doing is to help the people. The establishment just want to continue to make money. If he could have had those endorsements to help put the nail in the coffin, I think he would have done a lot better going into Super Tuesday. And I think he kind of, just kind of sat in his glory a little bit and didn't change up. Anytime you're in a fight, especially if it's a long fight, especially if it's a war, you gotta shift. You gotta go this way one time and then go that way and look at where we are. Okay, this is our advantage. Let's not just stay here. Yeah, this got us here, but it getting us here don't mean it's going to get us to where we need to be. And I think he missed it in not shifting the message to him being the front runner, the most electable, to him continuing to say he's the underdog and it's the revolution. And if he would have just married the revolution, because people are always scared about the revolution, and you hear them, the pundits in their talking points is, well, we don't want a revolution. Biden says we don't want a revolution. We just want someone that can get things done and this and that. If he talked about his revolution in relation to FDR when he did the New Deal revolution, Martin Luther King when he did when he had a revolution to bring on civil rights, if he could have married it in the history, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, if he could have married it into the history of how these revolutions have put us in a place that we are in today, I think that Bernie would have done extremely better than he did now. And I'm not saying he's not out of the race. It's tied, but it shouldn't be tied right now. It will be essentially tied. Bernie may be up by a little, but Biden was thinking he was going to have to come up by at least 100 to 200 points going into March 10th. But that's it. It is what it is. And I'm gonna play this video. Where is it? Okay. And we're going to talk about Elizabeth Warren in a minute, because she's the worst right now. She's the worst. Check this video out. She didn't drop out, even knowing that the reason that Biden is where he is because the centrists, the neoliberals, all consolidated and came together. Her knowing that, she continued. She took a super PAC, which she claimed that she would not take, $14 million, and then said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to still be in the race. I would be shocked. Because if you look at we're gonna look through it, but if you look at all the exiting polls, she's winning 12%, 13%, 14%. Bernie would have had at least 90% of those votes. At least. Let's go into this. Lord.
UK, which is that fundamentally you have to root. And I think this was always Sanders' issue, is that he had all of these kind of intersectional people within his movement that were not rooting themselves in the story of America.
Yes.
And except in that one time, the speech that you and I attended, when he rooted democratic socialism in the history of FDR, and he made it a distinctly American phenomenon. He did too much, I think, international post-national solidarity, and he didn't root a lot of his rhetoric in a language that suburban voters can understand, that most Americans can understand. And I think that's why the suburban voters were so on the fence, and then when they got permission to vote for Joe, they went for Joe.
And I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
There was a long.
When they got permission for Joe, they voted for Joe. That's the thing. When they got permission, they voted for Joe. You know what I mean? And, think about it. If you're going to be an outlier, if you're going to go against the institution, go against the establishment, go against the establishment. You know what I'm saying? Put 10 toes to the ground and go against them. Trump did. When they went against Trump, when he was going in 2016, they was like, oh, he's not good. He said he's going against the establishment. Wasn't nobody his friend. Every time Bernie Sanders talks about Joe Biden, he starts everything off as Joe Biden is a good friend of mine. Y'all shouldn't be friends right now. You should be going, if they're saying you're the existential threat to America, this is what all the pundits are saying, that you are that, and you're saying that you're going to go against the establishment, then be that. You haven't talked about, at one time, you haven't talked about Joe Biden lying about being arrested with Nelson Mandela, which this just happened. You didn't talk about him lying about, hey, did you see that? Flip is the cat, and he's over here attacking a new cat. He's attacking a new cat. You're going to have to do something. You can't put him right there. Flip is tripping. Probably put him in the bathroom. Yeah, I'll put Flip in the bathroom. Put him in the bathroom, though, because he knew. Don't put Flip in the bathroom. But that's his whole thing. How you going to get across? You just have to move it. Just go ahead and move it. Excuse us. Hold on. You got it? Oh, no. Just when you come back, just move that back. We got that green screen. But, this is, let me put this thing on here. Where is it at? All right. So my bad. Flip. Get back over there. Get back over there. Get back over there. Flip trying to get to that cat. He ain't playing. He don't want nobody else in his house. I think I'm the only cat around here. Punk, stop playing with me. That's what he want to say. But, I'm gonna get him. But anyway, if you look at what Trump did, Trump went all in. He said, "This how we rolling. We going in." He went against Ted. What is his name? Ted. Oh boy, in Texas, he went against Jeb Bush. He was like lazy. He just went all the way in. You ain't my friend, and I'm going hard against you. Bernie Sanders hasn't done any of that. And we ain't talking about a lie. Only thing he had to do is bring up his past. Joe Biden got a tricky past, and no one's challenged him. Only thing they talked about was the crime bill. He's done way more than the crime bill, period. And no one's bringing that up. And Bernie Sanders hadn't brought that up as well. Push that back to the wall. Thank you. All right. That's cool. And no one else has brought that up as well. So think about that. If you're gonna go against the establishment, let's go against the establishment. Let's not play games. Let's go all in. They're saying you're an existential threat. Let me show you what they've been saying about you, so you can get a good, clear understanding of how they feel about you, because I think this matters. Here you go. This is this weirdo. He was on Bill Clinton's administration, and he was a part of his campaign. I'm trying to think of this guy's name. What is this guy's name? I'll find his name. I know I have it in here somewhere. James Carville. Look at this. Listen to James Carville.
I don't understand how Bernie is considered a front-runner. In New Hampshire, 52% of voters wanted either Pete Buttigieg or Amy Klobuchar or Joe Biden. Moderates are winning.
Why wasn't Buttigieg's win in Iowa a bigger banner headline? He also has upset Bernie Sanders in both states.
The story of the night, Amy Klobuchar.
Part of the Democratic Party that wants us to be a cult. I'm not interested in being in a cult. I'm 75 years old. I'm just not a very culty person. I'm 75 years old. Why am I here doing this? Because I am scared to death. That's why. The happiest person right now, it's about 1:15 Moscow time.
This is them talking right when Bernie won Nevada.
Right now. How you doing, Vlad?
I'm reading last night about the fall of France in the summer of 1940, and the general, Renault, calls up Churchill and says, "It's over." And Churchill said, "How can it be? You got the greatest army in Europe. How can it be over?" He said, "It's over." So I had that suppressed feeling. I can't be as wild as Carville, but he is damn smart, and I think he's damn right on this one. I have my own views of the word socialist, and I'll be glad to share them with you in private. And they go back to the early 1950s. I have an attitude about them. I remember the Cold War. I have an attitude towards Castro. I believe if Castro and the Reds had won the Cold War, there would have been executions in Central Park, and I might have been one of the ones getting executed. And certain other people would be there cheering, okay? So I have a problem with people who took the other side. I don't know who Bernie supports over these years. I don't know what he means by social. 1 week it's Denmark. We're going to be like Denmark. Okay, that's harmless. That's basically a capitalist country with a lot of good social welfare programs. Denmark is harmless.
It's pretty clearly in the Denmark
category, yeah. Are you sure? How do you know? Did he tell you that?
Well, I mean, that's what he says, and that's what his agenda calls for.
Look at that. By the way, Chris Matthews was just forced into retirement. By the way, he just announced it the other day that he's retiring. And it's definitely not because he wants to. It's because MSNBC is forcing him out because of his vitriol. Because of first off, his absurd parallel to Bernie Sanders winning Nevada to the Germans invading France in World War II. He's comparing a Jewish guy whose family was in the Holocaust to Nazis. That's what this guy is doing. That's how much they hate. That's how much they feel that Bernie's policies is a threat. If Bernie would have just leaned into it, I mean, he was talking about it, but you can't talk about it one time and then say on the other end, well, you know, once the convention comes, we're going to go with the person that has the most delegates, or yes, I'm going to concede. I would have been like, we'll see. I would have been just like Trump. We'll see. We'll see. Because I feel like they're cheating. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there, because I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We're going to go against the establishment. Let's go against the establishment. Don't half-ass go against the establishment, because if you half-assing, guess what? You're not as much of a threat to them now. They're not worried about you as much because you're bending. And this is me saying, if this is what you're going to do, if you're going to say you're going to be anti-establishment and go against the establishment, it shouldn't be anything that they do or say that you trust. Everything should be skeptical. You should be skeptical about everything that they do. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I know what happened in 2016 when they used super delegates and why we had to have a unity commission to try to figure this out. I remember what happened to me. Do that. Lean into it. You can't play friends with people that's not your friends. Look at them. They gang banging on you. They didn't went on ahead and got everybody against you. You got the Southside Crips, you got Santana Block, you got Mona Park. They didn't all came against you, and now they trying to ride on you. But you think they're your friends. Every time these are my friends, they don't care. They don't like you, bro. They don't. That's just the reality of it. And you need to get that. You don't want to be a part of the establishment. You're independent. Don't be a part of it. They don't need to be your friend. Y'all can be friends later. You trying to get into the White House. You trying to have a revolution to change this. Think about if Malcolm X wanted to be somebody's friend. If Martin Luther King wanted to be somebody's friend so much so that he compromised his morals and he compromised his stance. JFK, I just talked to Robert Kennedy and just let's not march today. Nah. We marching. Love it or leave it. This is what's going on. Here's Bernie's reaction to last night. Then I'm going to show you his campaign videos. One, which I'm extremely disappointed by. And a lot of Bernie backers, people, Bernie surrogates, people in the media are trying to argue, trying to justify this, and I think it's BS. But let me show you his initial reaction to what happened yesterday. Go to this clip if I still have it, because you know me, I like to change stuff up. All right, here we go. Oh, the cat is crying. It's making me feel bad. Not that one. This one.
This campaign has been compared to the coronavirus on television. We have been described as the Nazi army marching across France, etc., etc. As we come into the last several months of this campaign, what I hope very much is that what we can focus on is an issue-oriented campaign which deals with the concerns of the American people. As some of you may recall, the last debate that took place really was, I think, insulting to the American people. It was a food fight. It was about who could yell the loudest. That's not what the American people want. They want a serious debate on serious issues. Joe Biden is somebody I have known for many years. I like Joe. I think he's a very decent human being. Joe and I have a very different voting record. Joe and I have a very different vision for the future of this country. And Joe and I are running very different campaigns. And my hope is that in the coming months, we will be able to debate and discuss the very significant differences that we have. Joe is running a campaign which is obviously heavily supported by the corporate establishment. At last count, he has received funding from at least 60 billionaires. 60 billionaires. Our campaign has received more campaign contributions from more Americans, averaging $18.50 than any campaign in the history of our country. And by the way, I would offer Joe, because I know the issue of health care, among many other issues, is such an enormously important issue. I would hope that instead of having a debate where we have to spend 28 seconds trying to respond to a complicated issue, maybe we could spend an hour talking about why the United States is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people through something like a Medicare for All single-payer program. Yes, ma'am.
Senator, in 2016, you won Michigan. This has now become a swing state. Donald Trump flipped that state later on in the general election. Do you have to win that state to prove again that you can beat him in a general?
Well, look, I have said, I'm asked every day, do you have to win this state? Do you have to win that state? You know, I wish we could win all of the states.
But you won that over Hillary in 2016.
We won it by a few points. Look, we are going in there with a full expectation and the hope that we will win. Michigan is obviously an enormously important state I feel very comfortable in.
Obviously, he got to win. He has to win Michigan, and I think he will win Michigan. We were in Detroit when they had the second debate, and he has a large presence on the ground, and the turnout just for the debate. He had his official watch party, and it was an amazing outlook. But you don't underestimate. I think, like I said, I think that they got on their heels and they underestimated Joe Biden and what him consolidating all those votes could do. Now, let's look at some of. Let's look at some of Bernie's videos that he came out with today. One is okay, and one I am completely disappointed in. I don't even know who decided to make this, but this first one is okay. Let's watch this one.
when I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Well, we've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand.
When I argue,
Why are we just now hearing this? That's what I would like to know. Why are we just now hearing him go at Joe Biden like this? We're a year in, almost, and he just now coming at Joe Biden. This is crazy. I think that's a part of it. That's a part of it. He hasn't came at Joe Biden about nothing. Check out this. This just happened not too long ago. Joe Biden lying about being arrested with Nelson Mandela.
Biden with Casey Hunt dismissing Sanders' efforts to tie himself to former President Obama.
The way he talks about it, you think he and Barack were close buddies.
And you think they were not?
I know they were not.
Joe Biden has recently been telling voters that he was once arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela in South Africa in the 1970s when he was already a sitting U.S. Senator.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robben Island.
I came back from South Africa trying to see Nelson Mandela and getting arrested for trying to see him on Robben Island. He was in prison.
But tonight, the New York Times reviewed all available records and can't find any evidence of that arrest actually happening.
Biden with Casey Hunt dismissing Sanders' efforts to tie himself to former President Obama.
The way he talks about it, you think he and...
At all. No one's questioned him on that. This just happened. No one's brought up in any debate at all. Another thing that Joe Biden has done that no one's bringing up. Let me see. Do I have it here? Well, he lied about there's a few things. Well, he plagiarized his votes. I mean, he plagiarized his speech. He ran in 1988, 2008, and then now he's running. In 88, he had to suspend his candidacy because he was caught plagiarizing on his speeches. Every speech that he put forth, he took part of it from JFK, another part from a guy in the UK. Let's see. Let me see if this one's. Which one? Electability. Where is Joe Biden? Lying about. I think that's a CNN one. Okay, I'm gonna have to find it right quick on YouTube. Let's see. Joe Biden lying about civil rights. Joe Biden lying about marching civil rights. Rights March. See, where is it? First run presidency failed. Okay, we can get that one. Okay, here it is right here. Bam. Eye-opening lead. Let's see this. Bam.
And Jeff, eye-opening lead in a New York Times profile of Joe Biden's 1988 presidential campaign, the first time he ran for president. He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement. This is Biden making this false claim in 1987.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation, He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood, kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
It is, and the story was a reminder that in that 88 race, he was one of the younger candidates in the race. He was 44 years old. He was the new generation. But if you haven't read the book of What It Takes about the 1988 campaign, rich chapters of Joe Biden and others, but it does point out a problem, a challenge for Joe Biden. Has he fixed that issue? When he gets very comfortable out on the stump, speaking and other things, he has tended to embellish. He is
Embellish. That's what they call lying. In the corporate media, they call it embellishing. No, he lied. He lied. Period, point blank. And let's see what else he lied about. Claims over civil rights. Let's see. Questions. Claims over civil rights.
I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. And we changed attitudes.
When I was 17 years old, like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses of Wilmington, Delaware.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff. During the 60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I was a suburbanite kid who got a dose of exposure to what was happening to black Americans when I'm in my own city.
You know, when I was a teenager in Delaware, for real, I got involved in the civil rights movement. We have the 8th largest black population in America. Most people don't know that. And I'd go to 8 o'clock Mass, then I'd go to Reverend Herring's church where we'd meet in order to organize and figure where we were going to go, whether we were going to desegregate the Rialto movie theater, what we were going to do. I got my education for real in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact. But I got my education, Reverend Doc, in the black church, not a joke. Because when we used to get organized on Sundays to go out and desegregate movie theaters and things like that, we do it through the black church. I was no big shakes, Reverend, in the civil rights movement. I was just a kid. I got involved in desegregated movie theaters and helping, you may remember Reverend Moyer in Delaware and Herman Holloway organized voter registration drives, coming out of black churches on Sunday, figuring how we were going to move. In October, I was invited to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis to receive the Freedom Award. A thing when I sat in black churches in the east side of Wilmington getting ready to, and by the way, next to two Jewish rabbis, getting ready to go out and desegregate movie theaters in Delaware. I never ever thought in my life I would be worthy of, and I'm still not sure I'm worthy of it.
He's sure that he's definitely not worthy of it because it's a complete lie. No one's brought that up. No one's challenged him on that. He has the majority of the black vote and no one's challenging him on this BS. Instead, this is what this is what Bernie Sanders then does, which is beyond disappointing to me. Beyond disappointing.
Bernie is somebody who has the virtue of saying exactly what he believes, great authenticity, great passion, and is fearless. Bernie served on the Veterans Committee and got bills done.
I think people are ready for a call to action. They want honest leadership who cares about them. They want somebody who's going to fight for them. And they will find it in Bernie. That's right, feel the burn.
I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
Now, I mean, Obama said those things, but if we're talking about not wanting to be a part of the establishment, and we're not falling for that, and we're not accepting Michael Bloomberg's money. I mean, we ridiculed Michael Bloomberg for this. We're doing it? I mean, yeah, Obama said those things about Bernie, but Obama hasn't endorsed anybody. I don't appreciate this video at all. I think it's fake, and I don't even understand. Are we that desperate right now? Are we that desperate right now? And if you look at some of the, just want to show y'all some of the what people are saying at the bottom of this. This is a test to see if Obama reprimand this advert, but not Michael Bloomberg. If Obama denounces Bernie, he looks like a hypocrite, and it helps Bernie. Oh, Lord. The status quo can't stand it when the working class stands up for itself. Who else will feel like this won my man Bernie Sanders the presidency? I don't. It made me feel like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what's up? You ain't gonna see, and I'm not comparing nobody to Trump or anything like that, but you ain't about to see Trump or with George Bush and having the thing said, like, are we going against it or are we not? Now, you can get in the interview and be like, no, I like Obama. That's okay. You're talking about, no, I didn't have an issue with Obama. I liked Obama. But then we've gone against the policies that Obama put in place, what he didn't do, and all of a sudden we're using him as a crutch. Come on, man. Everyone else wants to use Obama in ads. It's about time Bernie does. Come on. No matter what happens, this movement needs to go on. The movement will go on, but not like this, though, bro. None of this. I ain't impressed by none of this. I'm actually disappointed. I don't know. I wasn't raised like that. I don't like it at all. It's like I said, it's different from saying, no, I don't have any problem with someone having an interview with you, but then you get so nervous by Super Tuesday, all of a sudden you're using him in a campaign ad? Come on, man. Come on. They had this ready too, just in case. Come on now. Unless Obama said it was cool, come on, man. I mean, I get it. You can use it. He did say those things, but it seemed like you reaching, bro. I don't appreciate it. Matter of fact, while y'all reaching, go ahead and reach and follow us, subscribe, like this page, hit the notification bell, and share this with your friends. Trying to get up. We starting from 0. So help us out. I want to go to Elizabeth Warren right quick, because Elizabeth is interesting. She's an interesting character. Not really. In my heart, I want to say she is an ain't-ish character. She's an ain't-ish character. By doing what she's doing to stay in this race, I think it's beyond repulsive. And let's see. We're going to just watch this over and over for a second. I got to use the restroom right quick.
And a viable path to the nomination no longer exists.
After failing to win a single state and suffering the indignity of being rejected by the voters that know her best, from both of her home state, Massachusetts, and her native state of Oklahoma. All this as calls grow on the left for Warren to make room for Bernie Sanders. One of his top surrogates, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, tweeting this: "Imagine if the progressives consolidated last night like the moderates consolidated. Who would have won? That's what we should be analyzing. I feel confident a united progressive movement would have allowed for us to build together and win Minnesota and other states we'd narrowly lost."
But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota.
And a viable path to the nomination no longer exists.
After failing to win a single state and suffering the indignity of being rejected by the voters that know her best from both of her home state, Massachusetts, and her native state of Oklahoma. All this as calls grow on the left for Warren to make room for Bernie Sanders. One of his top surrogates, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, tweeting this: "Imagine if the progressives consolidated last night like the moderates consolidated. Who would have won? That's what we should be analyzing. I feel confident a united progressive movement would have allowed for us to build together and win Minnesota and other states we'd narrowly lost."
But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota.
And a viable path to the nomination no longer exists.
After failing to win a single state and suffering the indignity of being rejected by the voters that know her best from both of her home state, Massachusetts, and her native state of Oklahoma. All this as calls grow on the left for Warren to make room for Bernie Sanders. One of his top surrogates, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, tweeting this: "Imagine if the progressives consolidated last night like the moderates consolidated. Who would have won? That's what we should be analyzing. I feel confident a united progressive movement would have allowed for us to build together and win Minnesota and other states we'd narrowly lost."
But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota.
She would have won a lot of states, period. Let's look at why. Let's look at what kept her from consolidating. To me, I feel like nothing but her own selfishness and greed. I think she got that $14 million because someone said, "No, we want you to stay in." They thought Bernie was going to be killing it coming out of Super Tuesday. And they were like, "No, we need you to stay in. We're going to give you $14 million to help you out." All of a sudden, she's taking super PACs when she said she wasn't going to take super PACs. And she took Bernie away from a lot of wins that he could have had. He could have easily got 90% of her votes. And she was winning like 12% in each state. And I think she won like one delegate. I think she got 15. She was viable in one state. So let's look at this. What's going on? Alabama. Alabama, 63%. God damn. 63%. Biden, 16%. I'm sorry, Bernie Sanders, 16%. Elizabeth, 5%. That could at least took them to 20% right there. Arkansas. These are all super white, super racist states. Let's see, Arkansas. Arkansas. 40%, 22%, 10%. That would have took him to 33%. He would have at least got 2 more delegates. California, 93% reporting. Damn. That's not even a big win. 93% reporting. 12%. That would have took him up to 45. That would have been more of a significant win. Colorado. Bernie wins. He would have won by a significant amount with that 17%. But she was viable. Maine. Bernie Sanders, 32%. Elizabeth, 15%. He would have beat Biden in Maine. Massachusetts, 26%. Elizabeth, 21%. He would have killed it in Massachusetts. Her home state, by the way. That she came third in, by the way. Minnesota, 29% Bernie. Elizabeth, 15%. He would have killed Joe Biden. And I'm thinking about 90% right now. He would have just got 90% of her vote. North Carolina. %, 24%. That would have been 34%. He would have got 2 more delegates. Wait, how did she get 2 delegates? 10%. Oh, this is probably one of those states that do, they have the county delegates as well, because she has to have 15%. You have to have 15% of a state to get a delegate, but in certain states, you become, if you got 15% in a county, then you can also get a delegate as well. That's why she was able to receive those 2 delegates with only 10%. Oklahoma, 13%, 25%. He would have damn near tied with Joe Biden. Tennessee, 41%, 25% Bernie Sanders, 10% Elizabeth Warren. Like I said, they do delegates per county as well in these states, where you see Elizabeth Warren has 1 delegate when she only got 10%, because you have to have 15 to be viable to receive a delegate. Is that in some counties she may have received over 15%, or at least 15%. That's why she was able to get 1 delegate with only 10% of the state's votes. 35, he would have been way closer. Texas. It's the sticker right here. She took 11% of the votes. That would have been 41% or 40%. He would have won it. Utah. Bernie Sanders win. She got 15%. He could have killed it right there. She still didn't get no delegates. There wasn't none to give out. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, it's only 74 reporting. That's probably why. So as they get more, she probably, as more votes come in, she's probably getting under 15%. So that's probably why they don't show, is because it's only 74% reporting. That's why. Okay. Vermont, she got 12%. He won 50 to 22. That could have been a blowout, but it's only 13. I think it was 13 delegates. No, I guess it's not 13. It's 16 delegates. 16 delegates. He could have had like 12 delegates or 13 delegates, and he would only got 2 or 3. I'm sorry. And this is why she's an asshole, because she's selfish and it's only about her. But I think it's more sinister than that. I think she made some type of deal. But we'll see. And that's, that's where we are going into March 10th. This is where we are going into the primary in Washington State, Idaho, North Dakota, Michigan, Missouri, and Memphis and Mississippi. This is where we stand going into these states, into this contest. Is how it's looking for us. So, you guys remember, follow us, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. So, we can build up this channel. We started from Scriznatch. And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all riding with me. And hopefully y'all got something out of this. I'm trying to educate the people that I know. And I'm trying to be as honest as possible, as much as I hate it. Super Tuesday. Biden did his thing, man. All right. Still.